With the ambitious release of Pokemon Legends Z8, I think Game Freak and the Pokemon Company and Nintendo are changing the future of Pokemon forever. This game is unlike any other Pokemon game that we have ever had, right? Sure, we've had some open world games, but this game is different in the sense that it's taking place in a city. The map is probably going to be smaller, it's still going to be a big map. The map will definitely still be massive, but I don't think it's going to be as big as the Scarlet and Violet map. And now I definitely think that the future of Pokemon is going to go all open world. Like I think Generation 10 is going to be open world, and there are a lot of theories out there about how when we get to remakes of like Pokemon X and Y or like Pokemon Sun and Moon or whatever, they're gonna actually do a demake, meaning like it's actually gonna be a remake, but it's gonna be in like the original kind of pixely style of Pokemon, which I think would be so awesome. I've been wanting to make a video about that for a long time, but I've just been kind of delaying that. I do want to make a video about that though, because it's a super interesting theory. But the future of Pokemon, guys, is gonna change forever. So we know that so ever since the 3DS came out with Pokemon X and Y, which are the first Pokemon games to be released on the 3DS, and those are also the games that introduced us to 3D Pokemon games, right? That game wasn't open world, it was still kind of linear and still had the original kind of styling and gameplay format, but the graphics were totally different. It was 3D, and we just kind of have seen the slow evolution of 3D Pokemon games. The Switch brought us kind of full like open world 3D Pokemon games, which every single Pokemon game on the Switch have been completely different from the last. Every single game looks totally different 3D renders, and some are better, some are worse. But before we get to the rest of the video, guys, subscribe to the channel to help me reach my goal of 17,000 subscribers before the end of this month. And also join my brand new Discord server where you can talk all things Pokemon, just meet some new people, and have a good time, guys. Join it, it's going to be in the description below. Alright, back to the video. But with the 3D open world Pokemon games, there have been a lot of controversies out there about it. People hate it, people love it, right? I personally don't mind it. I actually like open world games. I like open world Pokemon. I still love the original games. Like I'm playing through Pokemon Black and White 2 right now. Such an amazing game. And I do hope that we get future games that are kind of like the original Pokemon games, like the linear format, play style. But we'll see. But I think for the time being, Pokemon is going to be changing every single release, right? We're getting the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out soon, which hopefully will give us a huge leap in just Pokemon as a whole. I hope that Pokemon games on the Switch 2 are going to change for the better. But the Switch 2 is going to be more modern, obviously. It's going to be a newer console than the Switch, obviously. So that means Pokemon games can actually hold more data, information, meaning open world Pokemon games hopefully will be better. Pokemon games have a lot behind it. Like there's a lot to go into a Pokemon game. You have to render every single 3D open world Pokemon game, or just every Pokemon game in general. Game Freak, Nintendo, whatever, they have to design all brand new Pokemon, like for that specific game, all of the NPCs and the overworld and animations. Like there's a lot that goes into it, and that's why I think the Switch 2 is gonna be good for Pokemon. And now I think everyone knows that the future of Pokemon is changing. Like Pokemon is changing. They are still trying to find something that sticks. The original Pokemon games, you can see like a slow, very slight evolution from like Gen 1 to Gen 2, Gen 3, 4, 5, right? Even like 6 and 7 were kind of similar as far as like the 3D styling goes, right? Even Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire were kind of similar to how X and Y and Sun and Moon look. Obviously it's not the exact same, but it's similar. But the difference is on the Switch, it's like every single game literally looks completely different. Although on the other hand though, this game does look like Scarlet and Violet, right? Like Legends ZA does kind of resemble Scarlet and Violet, which is kind of weird to me. And the reason why it's weird is literally because of the fact that every other Pokemon game on the Switch have all looked so different from the last. So I'm wondering if this game will be different when the game is released, right? Like I'm wondering if it will look different. I just made a video about this entire thing, so I'm not going to go too far into this, but at the very end of the Legends ZA trailer, it says like gameplay is not final, like this is not final footage, meaning stuff is bound to change. There will probably be a difference in the graphics, which I really hope so. I hope it looks a little better. I don't hate how it looks. I actually think it looks better than Scarlet and Violet, even though it doesn't look a lot like Scarlet and Violet. If it looks like Scarlet and Violet, but has good performance and smooth gameplay, I'm going to be 100% happy with that. When I'm playing a Pokemon game, I don't expect the best graphics. Like, the Switch 2 Pokemon games are not going to look like a PlayStation 5 game, right? They're not made to look like that. Pokemon games are made to be fun and, cartoonish. Obviously, graphics matter, but they're not the selling point of a game, right? Like, there's so many games on the DS that aren't technically good graphics-wise, but they're so fun and such good games, right? So if Legends ZA performs extremely well and is a smooth game, I'm going to be happy with that. And this game could have a Switch 2 release. It could be a dual release on the Switch 1 and 2, meaning it's the same game, but the Switch 2 version will just be better graphics-wise, animations-wise, and everything like that. Just probably better performance and stuff. And who knows how Generation 10 is going to look. Generation 10 is hopefully coming out next year for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. Obviously, we don't have any official news about Gen 10, other than the fact that we know they're working on it, which is not actually official news, but I think it goes without saying that they have probably been working on Generation 10 for some time now. They probably started development of this game maybe 2 years ago, if I had to guess. It takes a couple of years to make video games, and especially since they have, they're working on different games at different times, and now they have Pokemon Works, which is the Pokemon company with Ilka, and so they're probably working on remakes right now. Like, hopefully the Black and White remakes are going to be really good. Generation 10 is rumored to have a Switch 1 and 2 version. It's going to be a dual release, apparently. Pokemon Black and White remakes are probably going to be a Switch 2 exclusive, if I had to guess. I think that Generation 10 is possible to be on the Switch 1 as well, but after Generation 10, I feel like Pokemon games are maybe going to be a Switch 2 only, which they're still going to be supporting the Switch 1 for a long time, but the Switch 2, guys, is coming out in just a couple of months, and just because of how popular the Switch 1 is, I think they're still going to be releasing Pokemon games and stuff, or just first-party games on the Switch 1 for some time. Pokemon is advancing. The future of Pokemon is changing. That's what this whole video is about. That means that they're going to get to a point where they can't just keep pushing out Pokemon games on the Switch 1 when the Switch 2 has been out for 2 or 3 years, because the Switch 2 version of Pokemon games are going to look so much better and perform so much better than the Switch 1 version. So it's going to be probably in their best interest to just release Switch 2 exclusive Pokemon games after Generation 10. And I know it's kind of unfortunate, but it's kind of just the reality. Who knows though? Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully they find a way to optimize Pokemon games to look insanely good on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. I'm just so curious for the first trailer of a Pokemon game on the Switch 2. And that's personally something I want to see so bad, because we know how all the Pokemon games have looked on the Switch. And like I said, I think the Pokemon games on the Switch have been very fun, but they've been very experimental and controversial. They've been so different, and I think Pokemon is trying to find something that sticks and really works extremely well, so then they could kind of build on top of that. So Scarlet and Violet, they were super popular. I think they may be the best-selling Pokemon games of all time, so maybe that's why they're using those graphics, those animations, but they're building upon it. Like, they're just building on top of the base core Pokemon Scarlet and Violet build, and they're just improving it, improving the performance, improving some of the textures, and that's what I really hope to see, because like I said, graphics are not everything. As long as this game is fun and good, I'm going to be happy with that, and I'm going to love this game. If you're watching this far in the video, comment down below your favorite type of cake, and tell me your thoughts about the future of Pokemon games. What do you want to see next from Game Freak and Nintendo? What what Pokemon game do you want to see come out after Generation 10? Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notifications, and join my brand new Discord server. Link is in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.